What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting going here in just a moment. We've got some wonderful things we got to talk about today. We have to talk about so much because this market is starting to reverse. It's looking like we're building a potential for that absolute bull rocket to the upside, but it very well could be a trap. We've got to pay attention to that. We've got to know that everything going on right now, there's so much on the line for your future. Be smart. Don't rush to trade emotionally. Identify the fact that we have the best opportunity of our lifetime. And we're about to get into it here in just a second. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, because we've got a lot of stuff we got to talk about today. We're doing this together. We're going to make sure that we can stay on the right side of the trend. So with that, what's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you doing? Markets are starting to see a little bit of life come back to the table. We're seeing a little bit of a reversal here, but it's not a complete reversal. We can see, as I don't know why, every single time I load this damn thing, this comes here and changes every single time. You guys tell me what's going on. But we're seeing the price action push up. But notice we have this gap here that we already, this full gap that we've already somewhat cleared, but technically we haven't cleared it yet because the price action has not come back up into the zone. But this gap, this area right in here, this is the area that has not yet been cleared. That's why I marked it out just like this. And we see we have this much larger gap above us, but the price is not yet even coming up and testing this area, but it's looking good because we're seeing a huge resurgence of price action pushing to the upside. We're seeing Bitcoin up 2% in 24 hours, Ethereum up 3%. Earlier today, I don't know if you all saw this, on the BitLab Academy Twitter page, as well as on the Instagram page. I'm not sure. I don't think I posted it on the YouTube page, but I was blowing on the charts that we have in the office here. And this was up, basically just ticked up to 10%. And that is relative to this big dip that we got right over here. Let me go ahead and see if I can actually move this 1 second. Let me just adjust this for just 1 second. We got to get a little bit more data in here. There we go. Now pulling this down, boom, move this across. There we go. Now we can see what's going on. This is what I'm talking about right here. This massive sell-off we had, and then a nice move up. We're seeing this across the board in the market. In fact, we're dancing right now. Let's go ahead and reload this. We are dancing with that $2 trillion mark. We got some things that we got to talk about today because a lot is on the line right now. And unfortunately, the majority of people that are in this market are going to absolutely get wrecked because they're trading on emotion rather than the data that is present. So when we're talking about what's happening, there's so much bullishness happening, and some of it is tangential to the crypto market, like this story right here from Elon Musk showing that X payments, we've been talking about this for some time, X payments is arriving imminently. This is going to change X forever, but this isn't just payments, US dollar, but he's had a lot of talk about integrating crypto to the market. So before we dive in any further, before we talk about the TA, and before we talk about what's going on with capital flow, and before we break down what's going on in this market, everybody, welcome to the show. My name's Kelly Kellum. If you haven't yet, look down below this video. If it doesn't say subscribe, hit that subscription button, and also make sure when you're looking at at my page here, and if you look down below, not only does it say subscribe, but you hit that bell right there, because yesterday we had a private member stream, and I deleted it now, but for about the first 10 minutes of that private stream, I posted on this basically post area and shared that private unlisted link. If you had your bell on, you would have been notified breaking things down. We got a couple more member streams that are going to be happening today. So before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button, show some love to the stream, hit that subscription button, and ding the bell. And I have to ask you right now before we dive into these charts, because we are setting up still. Yes, it feels like we're just belaboring the point right now, but we are setting up for the most bullish time in the history of crypto with the amount of asymmetry, meaning the reward versus risk And a lot of people right now, they're getting worried. They're getting, I don't know if you saw the short. I was hugging the Bitcoin pillow and saying, are you scared right now? And I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of every single one of us because the map is laid out for us. The path is laid out for us to succeed in these markets, to change our lives forever. And it all comes down to what you're doing and how you respond to those emotions. So let's go ahead and dive in to some of the things. I cannot still get the Twitter broadcast to work, and it's so darn frustrating. But when we're looking at everything going on here, we see BlackRock did not sell. And I have an important point to make about this because we're seeing kind of mixed bag here where if you scroll down, generally we're seeing quite a bit of sell pressure in the ETFs here, largest since all the way back here in the middle of June. And what the reason why this is important is we saw last time when we had a pretty big sell-off, BlackRock was still hovering at that zero mark. That does not happen on accident. And everybody needs to realize when we're talking about what's going on with when we're talking about what's going on with these ETFs and whether BlackRock or Fidelity, for instance, or VanEck are buying or selling, we have to remember it's not the institutions themselves buying or selling. It's the clients that are buying exposure to that electronically traded product, in this case, the ETF. Now, on the flip side of that, how the hell can BlackRock keep this at zero? Maybe they're not buying, but they have direct lines to major players in the global financial realm that have capital that they can either put in or take out of the market. So when they're seeing large outflows where we're seeing, look, Grayscale had over almost 1,300 Bitcoin sold. Fidelity had over 1,000 Bitcoin sold. ARK, 21 shares had over basically right at 1,300 Bitcoin sold. The difference here with BlackRock is they have a direct line to some of the biggest players in the world. And when they're seeing, hey, we're at a minus 30, or we're at a minus 70, we're at a minus 150, we're at a minus 800, they have the phone they can pick up and call and say, hey, we need you to bring this back to zero. I recommend you buy 600 Bitcoin. I recommend you buy 30 Bitcoin. Whatever it is to get that back to zero. That is a very important factor right now when we're considering what's going on. This is basically, let's call it the leader of the world, Larry Fink, and their entire organization, which is the largest asset manager in history with over $11 trillion in assets under management. He's the CEO of that brand, and they have this product that at one point was basically absolutely degrading to the max with misinformation. It really was, we realize now, lack of understanding of what this product was. Not even product, what this culture shift is. Money for the people. But the problem with it is, I won't say problem, but the inclusion that we have to understand with this is it's everybody, good, bad, corporate, non-corporate, governmental, anybody that can participate on the internet, even if it's just through a cell phone, can participate on the Bitcoin network. So with that being said, the shift that Larry Fink has taken and the fact that they're making sure that they defend these holdings is a major, major thing that we need to pay attention to. And the fact that Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, one of the most impactful and famous people in the world, is now integrating X Payments on one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. And X Payments is also going to, more likely than not, we haven't seen it yet, but more likely than not, be inclusive of a variety of different altcoins, Bitcoin and likely a few altcoins. That's going to have an impact on price on those that are identified that are included in the X Payments. Let me go ahead and retweet this in case you guys want to see this. I want to see if this is this, it's still not showing. So I can't stream on X yet. All right. Let that go. Now, when we're looking at what's going on right now, it felt so scary about 38 hours ago. It felt like the whole bull market was over. And when we see this, interesting fact from Mustache, El Crypto Prof, make sure you're giving them a follow, always posting great charts and information. Bitcoin is still above the super trend weekly and has touched the weekly SMA, simple moving average 50, at the same time. In 2017, the uptrend was touched several times with the wick, but never closed with the candle below it. What is this looking like? This is that super trend. Look at this consolidation. Boom. Once this flipped by, that was a strong signal. Look at this massive sell-off. And this is going to be important for what we're looking at right here in just a moment when we look at these charts. We see, look at this massive sell-off, massive washout here, V-shaped recovery. A little bit of consolidation, the fake out to the upside, which actually was a buy. Now, this did shake people out on the move back to the downside, but notice this is also a higher low, and this didn't even come anywhere near testing these levels down in here. So what we're seeing, even right here, where this tested back down, flash to buy, got that move, came back once we lost this line, sell all the way down. Flash to buy after the consolidation. This is the FTX crash right here, the very bottom of the bear market. November into December 2022. And then right here, when we flipped right into January 2023 is when the bull market started. That also was the point in which we got the buy signal on the super trend. What are we seeing right here? We've come down and tested it. Now, this means also we need to pay attention to this because this could spell a bit more time for the bulls to try and take over if this market does struggle. If this market does struggle to maintain the level that we were at right now. But as it stands right now, all we've done is test. Now, when we're considering this, remember, we're getting a large oscillation to the downside, but we're just got some very major news. Let me actually move this right here. Morgan Stanley's 15,000 wealth advisors will start pushing these electronically traded products like BlackRock and Fidelity and Van Eck. And there's so many. I think there's quite a number of different Bitcoin spot ETFs, but now we have the Bitcoin spot ETF, but we also have the Ethereum spot ETF. And all this time, all this billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars that have flown into the Bitcoin spot ETF has been without the pushing of these 15,000 registered investment advisors. Now, this does not mean this happens tomorrow and Thursday we have, $10 billion more dollars in the ETFs. This is these building blocks that we've been talking about, why this asymmetric bet on Bitcoin is only getting stronger as it stands right now, especially with the prices of where we're at here in that mid $55,000 range. And we're still, remember, the price overshot. When you look at this in correlation with what happened in 2017, when you look at this in comparison with what happened in 2019 into 2020, the large push up and sell off in 2019, whereas 2017 just had basically 8 major pullbacks of 26 to 45% on the way up. As it stands right now, when we're looking at the Bitcoin price, let's actually come to this right here. We just finally, from this cycle top, this regional top, I should say, at about just under $74,000, we have now moved down 33%, over 33%. We finally broke that structure of this never-ending 20% move to the downside washouts, where some people are getting a little too comfortable with that. And when people get complacent in markets and say it has to happen like this because this is what happened before, that's when you set yourself up for failure. Well, now we've pulled back over not only 20%, not over 25%, over 33% from this market cycle top. The question is going to be, are there signs or signals that this has more momentum to push to the downside? That's the question we have right now. We have 239 people in the room. Special shout out to each and every one of you. If this is the first time here, hit that subscribe button down below and hit that like button. Show some love. Let YouTube know you like this crypto content. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Now, Dixie looking like it could make a move, says Ryan O'Ligny. Let's go ahead and pull that up here in a little bit. We got a lot of TA we're going to be doing today. We had Matthew Hyland on yesterday. We had Kevin Svensson on yesterday. We were talking a lot about a bit more macro stuff. I want to get into a lot more TA today. So I want to see everybody active in the live chat. I want to see what is your biggest holding in your portfolio other than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Write that in the live chat. Comment down below if you're watching this later. And what is the altcoin? Don't list a meme coin. What is an altcoin in your portfolio that you have the most, I don't want to say hope, you have the most confidence in being one of the best performers in your portfolio? Now, what is one of the altcoins in your portfolio that you're a little concerned about? I want to see y'all's engagement in this live chat so we can pull from that and do some TA on these various projects. So get involved. This is a community thing. This isn't me talking at you. I want us all to succeed. I want to provide you meaningful tools, content, resources, and community. And in order for that community thing to be a factor, that means each and every one of you need to participate in the live chat and comment down below if you are here. I do want to shout out before we go any further. Shout out to CoinW channel partners. We are jumping in here very shortly to live trading and also a full live trading course, as well as live trading sessions that you're going to get access to for free. That's right, for free. All you got to do is sign up with that link that is pinned in the top of the live chat there. Sign up with this. It's all good if you have other exchange accounts. It is most important that not only do you have crypto cold storage, which we're going to bring that up here in a second, but that you make sure that you have multiple different accounts so you don't have all your capital in one place. Make sure you sign up with us there at CoinW. Set up an account, no KYC, no VPN needed. I always use the VPN on anything I'm doing in crypto just to protect myself. But just make sure that you sign up there, deposit $100 USDT and or more, and you'll have access, and you can get up to $30,500 in bonuses. So make sure you sign up. Now, again, before we move on any further, I also want to call out our channel partners, and we got a bunch of TA to do. So stick around. We're about to get into that. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Make sure you're protecting your crypto. Make sure you are protecting your future. Head over to getarculus.com, the best crypto cold storage device out there. Multi-factor authentication, very easy. I think the easiest crypto cold storage to use. And once you have it all set up, it's one tap, trade, swap, and transfer coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a whole long list of different crypto. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code LAB10 for 10% off. All right, are you guys ready to get in some more stories, some more data? And TA, most importantly, let's talk about it. We got Morgan Stanley on the deal. But what's happening right now is just like we see on the thumbnail for this, where are we at? On the thumbnail for today's stream, this whale. See this price action coming down, the whale defending this area. And what are the whales doing right now other than buying over 30,000 Bitcoin valued at approximately $1.62 billion? This is evident from the surge in exchange outflows and the decrease in Bitcoin supply held on exchanges. We're seeing whales, smart money, longer term minded people that assume by the data they're looking at, because whales are not just looking at price. They're looking at data. They're looking at adoption. They're looking at usage. They're looking at the market cycle structure and the fact that we're about to have the global liquidity turned back on and pumped back up. Now, that is terrible for inflation, but that's why we're all here. That's why you're here at BitLab Academy. That's why you're in the crypto market, because we want to make sure if that's going to continue to persist, money printing, the inflation and the devaluation of our lives, then I want to make sure that I am participating in an asset class that can help me stay ahead of that and, in fact, store it into my future. That's what this is all about. So whales are buying. Let's talk about it. When we come over here, we see starting tomorrow, Treasury also. Remember, we were just talking about money printing? Starting tomorrow, the Treasury will begin buying back up to $46 billion worth of outstanding government securities by the end of October. This isn't over the rest of the year. This is between now and October. So let's see, September, so through August to September, October. In the next basically 2.5 months, $46 billion going in there to buy back treasuries, which is very important right now, where you're seeing that huge pressure that we just saw on the Japanese stock market. However, the Japanese stock market did rebound yesterday almost immediately on open. They shot up like 10 or 11%. They actually they shut down the exchange of the stock market for a short period of time because the market was moving back up so fast. What does that mean? It means that the majority of people that were trading those markets, and remember, Bitcoin and the crypto markets have been affected by this as well because of the perception of the risk asset mentality that's still pervasive in the crypto ecosystem. So the sell-off in Japan also saw a large sell-off in the traditional assets here in the US. And because of that, the risk narrative shifted in people's minds, and there was a pretty large sell pressure in the crypto market. But what we see with the Japanese stock market open, those assets rocketed back up. And what are we also seeing today? We're seeing a little bit of upward pressure on the crypto ecosystem. So the point here is don't be so quick to just get scared. If the price drops and you're a long-term holder on these assets, you're trying to hold a position for the bull market, then take advantage of the dip buying opportunity. don't jump out only to have it reverse and then you buy back higher. That's how most people chop themselves out along the way. So now when we're coming back over here, we're going to get into this TA here in just a moment. The fear and greed dropped to a 17. 17, extreme fear. What happens on extreme fear? Let's kind of come over here. We can do, what is it? We can see this. If we come over here, alternative.me, if we scroll down here, we can see, where is it at? No, it's not there. There's a better one, Max. These moments in time where the fear or greed, when it's very low, this is very fearful. When it's very high, it's very greedy. Well, what was, January, March, April? This was those double tops. Remember the double top in the market last cycle? Everybody was greedy. When this gets very high, it doesn't mean you exit immediately, but you need to be looking for what your exit plan is if you don't have one already. When this drops this far down, what was this? This was that first top. This was that second top, right? Now, when this got all the way down here, got super fearful, the market reversed back to the upside, gave us that double top, right? What we're talking about is if we come out here to the 3-day, see this? January into February, March, April, this dropped all the way down here. And then all the way towards the end of 2021, the market rocketed back up. This was that second dip that we saw where the fear and greed dropped all the way down to right in here. This is that rebound buy opportunity. So really, when you're even on the most basic level, if you're trying to figure out on a period sort of swing trade over multiple months, or even multiple weeks, when this drops so far down here, below 20, you need to be looking for entries. When this gets above 80, into the 85, above 90 specifically. Look at this. When this tapped 90, where was this? Market cycle top that we just had on the regional basis when we just hit $74,000. Gave us a signal. Boom. Everybody's greedy. Reverses. Now we got the other side of that. We're down here below 20 again, down here at 17. So let's be smart and realize that even if we're fearful or even if we're greedy, we have to realize to look at the market sentiment more broadly and tie that in with the other signals that we're utilizing to make decisions about what to do in this market. So our emotions don't inform us, but our emotions can be a data point amongst other ingredients of data that we're pulling together to make structured decisions versus emotional reactions. That is what dominating this market is all about. That is what succeeding in this market comes from. Structuring your protocols and the way in which you're interacting so you're not reacting to the market emotionally, but you can use an emotional reaction as a data point in the response that you have to the market. That is critical if you want to experience riding this market from market cycle areas like we're down here or where we're at correlatively right in this zone. Massive sell-off opportunity brews. What are we doing? We're at the previous all-time high in this zone. If we turn off all these lines, we can see previous all-time high, consolidating, final washout. We've got a couple more data points on this to really discuss this. When we see this is that COVID crash. I told you we were going to talk about it. COVID crash. This was a sell-off. Boom. This is from Eric Crown. If you guys don't watch Crown's Crypto Cave, I've been watching him for 3-4 years. One of my favorite people in the space. A lot of data. Brilliant guy in the space. But he broke down this fractal. He said the fractal bros have been lacking in providing hopium, so I will take over dosing duties for the day. This is a COVID crash right here. Boom. Versus August 2024, which is now. Different time frames, similar fib extensions, purely for social media engagement purposes. But there is a correlation here. This sort of breakdown that came down into this basically fib extensions. And we can see, if we look at where we're at right now, doesn't that look pretty damn similar? The only difference is we saw how this played out and it finally got back up into the equilibrium of the price and then it absolutely blasted off from there. When we're looking at where we're at right now, we had similar sort of response to the downside. We're having the start of a potential reversal, but the reversal is not yet here yet. We cannot consider that we've reversed until, first off, if we turn on all these lines and charts and we zoom in here, we've got to get the price first on the most basic level. We got to get the price back up above, back within this diagonal right here, which is essentially from this point right here to this point right here on July 2nd created a basically trend line we need to pay attention to. And it also is, we can actually adjust this a little bit, coming right in the intersection of this base that we had a lot of support on, a little washout here, but a lot of support on, fell right through it. The price action needs to get back up above this $59,000, $60,000 level. And more so, remember, we have other data points that we need to pay attention to, and that is this gap. If we're looking at this gap, it's right in that zone too. Look, $59,000 to $62,000 level, and that's in line with what we were just talking about on a TA basis on the traditional chart here. So the question isn't, what should I be doing right now? Should I be buying? Should I be selling? You need to inform yourself of the data points that are present right now. You need to inform yourself of the market cycle structure that has been present for the last 14 years. You need to be aware of the global liquidity cycle that we've been talking about for the last year plus. And we're starting to see, if we bring this up on the chart, when we come over here, actually, let's bring it up on another chart. I want to save that one. You'll see it in a second. Don't worry. Global liquidity, where are we at? You need to inform yourself that, look at this right here. What do we see? I've been trying to clue you all in on this for some time, because if you want your rally car to drive up the mountain, you cannot do it without tires or without gas. If your tank is on empty and you're at the base of a mountain, you might get some of the way up, but you're eventually going to basically run out of fuel to continue climbing, and you will roll back down the mountain. Everybody wants to look at MACD, RSI, even the BitLab trading stack indicators. The number one, two most important things that you need to pay attention to are the liquidity in an asset class, and more broadly, the global liquidity, because everything's happening right now in global finance and markets. But also, is that global liquidity looking forward likely to come out or come in? And what we're seeing right here, I don't know what's going on with my voice. We're seeing this round out, and look at this, breaking to new highs. We just broke to a new high on the global liquidity, meaning there's more fuel coming in, and we're worried right now, zoomed in on this on a 2-hour time frame, saying it's over, when we just saw them put the damn gas pump in the car that says, hey man, we're fueling you up, warm up your engine. You might have a little rocking around right now until those fuel pumps get the fuel actually into them, and then you can drive this vehicle up the mountain. That's what is coming. It's not going to be immediate, but the setup is here to ride this to the top. Are you prepared for this? Have you been stacking? Have you been capitulating? Everything is setting up right now for one of the most bullish parts, the most bullish part of this market cycle. Do not get faked out right now. So when we're talking about that, we see this is very similar. COVID's, look at this, push up, kind of rounding out. And what do we see? Rounding out. We got a little bit of work to do, but the setup is there. And then furthermore, Bitcoin has finally printed a wick down under the support line. And the last cycle, that wick started off the new super bull rally running from 2016 to 2018. The current wick could send Bitcoin to another bull market top. What are we seeing here? We're seeing this sort of diagonal here from this support to this resistance acted as support. Well, let's look at this. I have this drawn out on the chart. This is this green line right here. If we come out to the daily, let's go to a cleaner chart. There we go. A little, yeah. No, that's not going to be the chart. Let's go to I don't want to do the BLX. Let's do BTC, USD. Let's do Kraken. Boom. So here we go. I just want a naked chart. Let's get it naked. We can come over here. We can do array. And essentially what we want it to do here, I'm not even looking to the right. I'm looking where my mouse is right here, and I'm moving this up to the first touch point right there. The first touch point is right here, right? So let's make sure we got that accurate. Yeah. So now we see touch, 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 touch. If we zoom out, Look at where we're kind of coming down to. This suggests that we potentially could come back down. We've already kind of tested this region down to $47,000. But remember, these levels are all speculative. You could actually draw this a little bit more like this. Actually, that's the first one there. And then that's the second one. Okay, touching a little overshadow, but little fake out touch there. And if we zoom over, see, either way, there's a region those two rays kind of project into, and we flush this out. Not only do we flush it out, we see a massive amount of buying that came in. Look at this size of this candle. This is a daily chart. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. This is a story. This is what I want to see. Remember, we're talking about global liquidity. Now we're talking about volume. The bears trying to send it down. This is how much volume was in. A lot more volume than we'd see in quite a while. Massive spike. But then what do we see? A larger, even larger bullish volume candle here, meaning the candle, there was more buying volume here than in either one of these candles here to the downside. Now there was 2 in a row, but all of a sudden the buyers really came in full force. That's why when you look at this on the daily, this candle tried to come all the way down here. The bulls ate this all the way back up here. So this is a start. Not the finish. This is a start of something that could be very, very good. And we see, I mean, could this be that reset? I don't know. And then, in addition to all that, we see the Bitcoin price action and how that relates to what is happening with also the RSI. We're watching this sell-off. It's so scary. Look at this. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, came down all the way below that 30 line. And then what do we see right here? Came down all the way below that 30 line. Both of these were great buy opportunities. Came down all the way, even deeper below that 30 line, all the way down to quite low. Similarly, this didn't quite get there, but it still had a nice launch to the upside. Now we had a bit of a fake out here. I'll give you that. Bit of a fake out here. Right here versus right here. This did have a big move up though. You cannot deny that this is a pretty damn large move to the upside, except it wasn't ready yet. Came back down, and look at how much, I want you to pay attention, how much deeper this price action went, while at the same time, the RSI is relatively at the same level. So the price went further, and we're getting this is what's known as a bullish divergence. Price action is lower, RSI is at the same level or higher, meaning the strength is there. The price is trying to trick you. Do not get tricked. You're tricked if you capitulate. You're clued in if you find buy opportunities down in this level. Does this mean it can't go lower? It absolutely could go lower. But anywhere we're at right now with the structure of everything happening in the background, in the crypto, in the Bitcoin ecosystem, suggests that basically anywhere at this price or lower is an excellent buy looking forward if you're able to hold for multiple months. Because remember, we got that election coming up as well. Now, we also have the capital flow finally, and I've been talking about this capital flow. You see that? It comes down, flips red there, comes down, flips red, comes down there, flips red, on the way up. These are those 8 resets on the way up, 26 to 41% on the way up. What do we get here? A move to the upside, comes down, resets. After we finally got capital flow positive, meaning money's pouring into Bitcoin, it came back and reset right here. What was that? That was that fake out that a lot of people were very worried this was just the top and this was going to continue lower. But what did we see on the price action? The price action came and held, option H, pushed up, came and held this level, which was not only this low, but also this high and this high. You see this? Very important level here, and it held. And what do we see on the capital flow chart? We saw the price action come all the way back down and dipped into the red, and we finally got that dip back into the red right now. Essentially, if you want to look at this on the most basic level, it's big money and smart money and market makers looking, and I don't want to say looking specifically at this chart, but they see when the conviction flips bearish in a bull trend, they say, okay, we got them, hook them. Now let's run to the other direction. Everybody committed, money's committing, coming out. Now let's wreck the most people because we've done our worst. Boom. And you have a strong possibility of market moving to the upside. I actually don't want to share that right now. Now we're going to dive into some TA here in just a second. I just want to, all of this is very important, everybody. All of this data, if you're just looking at a 15-minute chart, which 15-minute or hour chart, which we're going to be doing when we're doing those trading sessions on CoinW that you can join for free. All you got to do is sign up with CoinW with that link that's pinned in the top of the live chat. It is also pinned. It's also at the very top line of the description right below this video. Sign up there. Deposit $100 USDT or more, and you'll have access to these live trading sessions. But what we're seeing here, when we're talking about what's going on more broadly, I don't know how that just, there we go. Let's actually refresh just to make sure. Look at this on the 20. I actually want to go to the weekly. Here we go. Look at how much liquidity is above us. Very small little swath below us. So much liquidity above us. A magnet. In addition to this liquidity, remember, we have this massive gap above us as well. It's almost like a double magnet, if you want to think of it that way. And if we come down to, for instance, the 3-day chart, get a little bit more zoomed in, we do have a little bit of nodes and nodules here that it's not, a potential reversal is not over if this drops. You have to know that. A reversal in this immediate context is over if this drops and takes out this low. If this breaks down and finds support in this node here, comes down, clears this liquidity, that is actually establishing a higher low. Because as it stands right now, this is, a large move coming up like this does suggest that we potentially could have a little bit of a sell-off, maybe here into the $53,000, $54,000 region, and then move to the upside. That would also substantiate a bit more of a reversal narrative because we got the W formation. Great. This is moving up. If we do get a sell-off, if we hold here or even here or higher, then we're substantiating having a higher low. And then we want to see that price action push and break above these zones right in here, which is basically 57 on our way back up here to the $61,000 level. Now, do we have any super chats or anything? No, we got 67 likes and 230 people in here. If we can get over 125 likes, by the end of this stream, we can give away $75 USDT. Let's go. If we get over 200 likes, we can give away $150 USDT to 2 different people. Everybody hit that like button, show some love. Let's get some love going on the stream. Now, let's talk about some TA. Let's talk about those levels. Let's talk about those altcoins. Let's talk about what's going on because altcoins are bleeding. We've talked about this. Higher on the risk curve. When we look at the TOTAL3, this did not happen. But look at this. If we look at this with the option T, TOTAL3 is basically all these altcoins. This is still just within this pattern. Rise, retrace, rejection, almost gets all the way down here and comes, look, right to this level that we've basically, you can see on the charts. But you do see a pretty substantial move back to the upside. Why is that not working? There we go. Pretty substantial move. This is a TOTAL3, so it's an aggregate. You could see this. We talked about it yesterday on the member stream, but also on yesterday's main stream. But when you look at like AERO, look at this move. This is not we have a higher low. That's a 31% wick. This means this candle alone, if we look at this individual candle, this candle went from here, dropped 31%, and then ate back up 33% back up to the upside. That's substantial. This is strength for this asset. Although it's a smaller market cap comparatively with a lot of the altcoins out there, this is telling us it's a strong contender for a good performer in this coming bull market. ONDO also we talked about. This is a reversal candle right here. It's trying to make the move. This wick is 26%. That is 33%, 36% to the upside. Bulls defended that territory. We also saw, I don't know if you guys saw it, BlackRock added $8 million worth of ONDO to their BitLab portfolio. Hey, you want a clue? follow the money. I want to scroll back up. I'm looking at y'all's comments right now, seeing what coins you're talking about, so we can make sure. I want to make sure. David Bumbledoe says, by the way, Kelly's an awesome DJ. Thank you. I had so much fun at the Bitcoin conference, DJing. We had this big mixer for Hit Network, Discover Crypto. We had like 180 people there. A lot of people don't realize that I toured as a DJ for years. Festivals, clubs, some of the best clubs in the world. I mean, I've played everywhere. I've played in the center of the Sahara Desert at a festival. I was the music director for W Hotels. I ran the biggest sound camp at Burning Man for 12 years. I could play some music. But of course, I've been in crypto in a long time too. I'm a businessman, baby. So people would just be walking by me at the party, and they thought I was just like some hired help, and they'd look and they'd be like, "Fucking Kelly," people didn't realize. Now I'm playing Singapore Token 2049. I'm doing some stuff with CoinW and Swissborg. I'm getting asked to DJ at these different crypto events now because people are like, we had no idea. That Las Vegas Bitcoin conference next year. But hey, I'm here for crypto. I'm here for how this can change the world. I stopped essentially my DJ career because I was spending 80 hours a week anyway doing crypto. I mean, all the way back since 2015. So boy's been here a while. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these. I'm looking at y'all's comments. So get engaged. I do read what you guys say. I'm trying to see what different things you guys have talked about here. I see Morel in the house. Shout out to my boy Morel. He gives so much help. Did this ever turn back on? Nope. Morel, you got to help me out, bro. I don't know what's going on. Now let's talk about Stacks. Had a pretty nice move to the downside as well. Everything had a move to the downside. But look at this. Look at this rising level of support. If we zoom out on this, let's look at this. All the way from back here, December 2022, right in here. This actually looks like it's a little off. So let's move this. What am I doing? I'm not looking here. I'm looking right here and right here where this point of contact, and look at where the price action came down to. Came down, tested right into the zone, maintaining this multi-year structure and coming, having a nice little buying wick. The buyers came in, defended the area. This is a weekly candle. So let's look at the 4-day candle, 4-hour candle, sorry. Look at this. Wicks just beyond, candle bodies right on the zone. Momentum wave came quite deep, but it's trickling back up quite strong. However, look at how high the stochastics are getting on this. It's getting a little concerning that, we're getting this, essentially this bullish attempt that's starting to show signs that some weakness might come in. That does not mean that this potential reversal for Stacks is over. What this is signaling to me is that we might have another washout attempt, something like this, and maintain a little bit higher, and then do our move, something like that. Because then you have a higher low. You basically really test the resolve of the bulls, so on and so forth. But what we're seeing here on the 4-hour chart is, look, stochastics are coming into a known trend line. What am I talking about? Well, you can draw trend lines on these data points just like you do on your price action. Zone, okay, boom, now we created the trend line. Now look at where we're at. The stochastics are starting to roll over, and look at the RSI. Came up, attempted, broke down, came up, and look, it's already rolling over below where this top is, showing that there's weakness coming in to this move, and there's still a major amount of negative money flow here. This is money flow. So when you see this blue wave, that's positive money coming into the asset, and then now negative money coming out of the asset. Tried to go in, but coming out of the asset, accelerating. Now there is a momentum wave kind of moving up like this, but I guarantee you, if we zoom in on this, we will see that this is actually starting to curve over. What do I mean? We can get better resolution. We're on the 4-hour, let's go to the 1-hour. Look at this. So you see how this is rolling over? This is that move that we're talking about. As if we really look at this, this is trying to aggressively move up, and it's starting to, if we don't get another pop to the upside soon, this is likely going to roll over here. Now, again, that's not the end of the world. We're just painting the picture that there is potentially some weakness coming into. Let me close out my mail because it is dinging in my ear. All those monthly subscriptions to BitLab Academy, or I get a signal every time it happens, just ding, 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 because a lot of them are on the 5th and the 6th. And yeah, so I mean, I'm still very bullish on stacks. The fact that this held here is incredibly bullish. We're really watching for stacks once it pushes and clears $1.47 zone to $1.55. Once we clear into this region, we have, you know, a number of different levels here, which is not only this level, but for instance, if the price action pushes up on stacks, and push it, you know, so we have a little move and comes into this zone, this region is going to be very telling if we're able to clear it, use this as support, and then continue to the upside. But there's going to be, I think, still a couple days, a little bit of a shakeout yet with what's going on in this market. I'm not nearly as bearish as I think a lot of people are right now. I think there's going to be another scary move, but I think the rebound is probably going to be quite aggressive on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on, you know, a lot of these different altcoins. If we come over here, for instance, let's look at DOT. We haven't looked at DOT in a minute. And by the way, I got to, you know, there's been some really interesting data coming out on DOT recently about activity. I got a video I'm going to be doing about that. It's a little bit of a positive canary in the coal mine for what's happening on their network. What's happening on their network and what's likely to be coming here in this ecosystem. But we had this falling wedge. They're supposed to break bullish, right? But remember, the patterns on these is about a 60%, 65 to 70% hit rate of falling wedges breaking bullish, just like rising wedges break bearish. However, there's always that percentage chance that other things happen. The black swans, the market meltdown in Japan, and the global, you know, conflict, the price action is going to ignore a pattern if major market shaking news comes out. And this is what we're seeing here. But what does this mean? This means if you felt like you missed the boat with price up here above $10, well, look at this. It's down here at 377. You know, it broke all the way down here to 364, right? That's a pretty big move. So if you're bullish back there at that top, you have a 70% better opportunity right now with the price action coming down here, especially with the amount of activity that just exploded on the network. So this is, for me, coming down into these zones, and look at where this is. Option H, it bounced at these previous range lows. Fully reset, giving you an opportunity that started back here in October 2023, before this move. 222% move to the upside, erased with the 70%. If you bought anywhere along this way and it's up here and this has come down and you're not planning on selling, then this is a great opportunity to lower your average entry. What do I mean by that? If you buy 10 Polkadot at $10, and then you buy, oh man, the price fell, and you buy 10 more Polkadot at $3.62, you get a hell of a lot more Polkadot at $3.62, lowering your average entry to somewhere around here, around, you know, probably $4 to $6. And then for you to get back to break even to start being in profit, then the price only has to get to this point, and then you're in profit moving on, versus just holding here. You held all the way down here, and now you're waiting all the way back up to this price point before you can be in profit. It's understanding how to navigate these assets and navigate the movements in the market that make it more easy to be profitable, but also mitigate your risk along the way. Now, when we're looking at, let's look at a couple others that we haven't looked at in a while. SEI, how many of you all are SEI holders? Just channel, like all of them. There are so many falling wedges in the crypto ecosystem that broke bearish. Look at this, faked out, or actually came back into this, falling wedge right at resistance and then broke back down to the downside. I mean, again, look at this. Look at this move. It's an 82% move crash from this recent top in March to where we're at now. Now, is it a buy? Well, we had the momentum wave rolling over. We're on the 8-hour chart. Momentum wave's rolling over. What's it looking like on the daily, actually? Daily chart, look at this. Massive sell pressure has been involved on this daily chart. We can tell because these momentum waves are red. This is part of the BitLab trading stack. This is the BitLab trend fuel, one of 3 elements within the BitLab trading stack. Showing not only is the momentum coming down, but you're having more sell pressure than normal. Now, with that being said, look, the stochastics fully rebounded, or they bottomed essentially. They're starting to angle up. The RSI is angled up. So let's get down to the 8-hour. Look, they're starting to push up. We're getting a little bit of a hesitation here, like we're seeing across the crypto market. The momentum wave has sort of clipped. We get this bright green triangle showing that this is rolling back over, but we still have negative money flow. So let's get down a little bit smaller, 4-hour time frame. We had bullish divergence here on the momentum waves. I'm not even looking at the price action. I can check the health of what's happening without confusing myself with the price. Look at this data, and then we can look at it in relationship to the price. So we still have negative money flow even on the 4-hour. So this has, for the most part, for the time being, bottomed. However, look at where we're having trouble. If we draw a box over this price action trouble and just go left, look at that. It's where this previous range low was. So this is going to be critical to get above before we really start talking about an actual reversal. There's still a possibility that this comes down and bounces here, creates a higher low, and then makes its way up like that. But there are so many opportunities. Do you guys remember months ago how high Quant was? Quant was so damn high compared to where it is now. Let's look at this. Quant was up here at $152. See this? $153. And where is it at right now? It is at the dream buy of a century in the middle of a bull trend with a 67% drop in price. Now, if you had to endure that, I'm sorry. But if you have a long-term position on this asset, then it shouldn't bother you. If you had a strategy that you're buying for the duration of the bull market and you're going to take profit sometime next year, then we just re-entered great DCA zone. So you bought up here. Now the price is, look, let's say you bought one quant here at $153. The price is down here where you can almost buy 3 quant for the same amount of money. You see how that works? If you believed in it here and you're planning on holding this one that you bought here all the way through, July, August, September next year, then this is an opportunity for you to DCA in. Does that make sense? If we get down here on the 4-hour, again, a lot of these coins pushing up into, look at this, rounding out as it's getting into the zones of where these previous range lows were. You see this one? Come on. You see these range lows? We have this bounce. Look where the price action is starting. See this rounding out into this? It's not over. This just needs to clearly break through this, find support on it, and go if that's going to happen. If this rounds out and has a little wick up, like on this 4-hour candle, for instance, and comes back down, and this breaks back down, then be aware that I do think we're near, if we haven't had it yet, I think we're very near where that bottom will be for this dip. Now, I think the bottom is in on this dip. I do think that there's a strong likelihood on a lot of these Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins that we do get another scary bear trap to the downside before we come up and make these moves. But that's what we're seeing. Caspa. How many of you guys are Caspa holders? We still got 200 people in the room, only 87 likes. Less than half of you like free content giving you unbiased looks at these markets, tools, experience, community. I wish everybody would participate in the things that are given out for free and incentivize people to want to continue to do it for free. Otherwise, I'm just going to go and do private member streams. You know what I mean? Everybody participate. If you like, or if you're watching longer than 10 minutes, then you are engaged. Hit that like button, show some love. It lets YouTube know, because there's some censorship coming into crypto within the YouTube sphere, especially with what's happening on with our administration. Making sure that there's data points that they're seeing their user base interact in the live chats and hitting that like button actually does. It's an activist move for crypto and the blockchain industry. Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. Caspa, let's see. Let's go out to the 12-hour. I mean, blood on the streets. What do you do with blood on the streets? God dang it. What do you do with blood on the streets, everybody? You look for that opportunity. 40% move to the downside. This is actually holding relatively strongly. Let's go to the daily. Holding relatively strongly. Pretty nice move to the downside. Remember, we're also seeing a bunch of large miners out there that are also starting to mine Caspa as well. This does give me a little concern. I'm going to show you what concerns me on the bullish narrative. See this angle? If I drag this over, is it the same angle? If I drag this over, is this the same angle? What does that look like? It looks like dominoes falling. It's not the end of the world, but I do think that there's been a little bit of hype in Caspa lately that looks like it's starting to have a little bit of momentum shift here. This is not the end of the world again, but I will say these types of things, and look at where we bounced. From this point to this point to right here, we did bounce here. If the price action does break down, I'd be watching for an opportunity here at 13 cents. If we lose this opportunity zone, I do think the price action is probably going to come to right here. I'll show you why. Option J gives you that, look, rejection, support, 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 support a little bit above it. But this zone, I do think if Caspa breaks this zone, I'd be looking for an opportunity at this right down here at basically 9 to 10 cents. And I say that because I look at the trend of momentum to help give me an idea of what the narrative between the bulls and the bears is. Still a very sharp angle of attack. Bulls, a lot of momentum, buying pressure, a little bit weaker. Takes a lot more energy to climb the mountain. Does this make sense? And we did have a bit of a washout down, but if we do get that sort of second test to the downside with Bitcoin, some of the alts, other altcoins may have a higher low. This may actually have a washout that really scares some people coming down here, opportunity zone around 10 cents. And that's not a small move. That's a 40% move to the downside. And again, I'm not saying that's happening, but I'm saying if we do get that bigger move, this is what I'm looking at. In fact, if being bullish as I am, if we can maintain this with, if we do pull back down and we bounce down here, above 13 cents, then I think things are going to be relatively good, and then we can resume to the upside. But as it stands right now, we're seeing a lot of movement in the market. Velodrome, actually, look at this, holding beautifully. The nice falling wedge here, the move to the upside, found support, and look at where it found support on this. We can actually, on the second move to the downside, found support here. Velodrome's looking actually quite well. And we've had negative money flow all the way since back here March 27th. Now, if this can actually pop its way back above 7 cents and then back above 8 cents, these are the two levels I'm watching right here. Option J, and then option right here. Why? Because this is this descending trend line right here we got to pay attention to, which is right at 7 cents. If it's not a fake out, we need to clear 7 or 8 cents, which is right here, right? Let's call it 8 cents. But then the more important level is this top, and these bottoms. I mean, look at this. This actually comes all the way back over to here. Very important level here for a continuation to the upside for Velodrome, 12.9 cents. HBAR. HBAR, had this head and shoulders with a weird sort of move here. I almost want to ignore this move, but just bullish attempt failed. Stronger bullish attempt failed. We had this anomalous sort of move here, came right back down. But if we just ignore that, for instance, if we did this on a line chart, you could still see it, but a very similar shape to head and shoulders. And the measurement from this, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a neckline, right? If this were head and shoulders, I'm measuring from the top of the head to the neckline. Now, measuring this out of what the target would be, if the breakdown, look at where the price went to. This price action told us where the price was likely going to go. It's gone there. Is it done yet? Well, look at where it bounced. Option J, right at these previous range lows. So this was, to me, probably a pretty good buy opportunity for Hedera. We got to watch on the price action move to the upside, 6.4 cents. And then up here in this zone, 7.3 cents. And then all the way up here at about 10 cents. But the market is, guys, gals, countrymen, friends, everybody, The market is shaping up to get into that super trader zone. And again, I want you all to succeed in this market. I want you all to absolutely dominate. If you haven't yet, make sure you head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Hop in there while you can. We still have the deal going because we haven't broken past that $74,000 level. You get access to the BitLab Discord. You get access to being able to upgrade, get the courses and the indicators. Head over there. It's half a month free, and then it's like 30% off for the life of your account. And that's where you also are able to add to get the indicators. Now, along with that, I do want to just let you guys know we are going to be getting into this live trading where you guys call in. It's going to be private. You can only get access to it. It's free. You can only get access to it if you sign up for CoinW. By the way, even if you have another CoinW account, sign up for CoinW, deposit $100 in there. It's also one of the easiest ways, and it's a free way that you can help support this channel by making sure that we can take on partners that help us keep the lights on so we can make sure that we're bringing meaningful content to you that's not sculpted by other needs, because it is expensive to do what we're doing. And I love you guys, and it's an easy way to help participate and support in the channel. Sign up for CoinW. The link is in the description right down below this video. You also get up to $30,500 in bonuses. I love you and I appreciate you. Make sure you also sign up over at getarculus.com using code LAB10 for 10% off your crypto cold storage wallet. That's all I got for you today, guys. We're going to be heading over to the DGen Alpha stream right now. Let's everybody head there. Let's do it together. We're a community. Let's flood in. You can just stay here. It'll forward you there, or head over to DGen Alpha Taco stream here, and everybody drop 3 lab coats in the live chat. Let's show some love. That's all I got for you today, everybody. I love you. Adios, muchachos. It's still up.